What's up, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the first four figures Great Grey Wolf Sif statue. You're watching Geekbeef Collectibles. What's up, guys? My name is Andy Beef, and you're watching Geekbeef Collectibles. Today we'll be looking at the Great Grey Wolf Sif statue from First 4 Figures. The Great Grey Wolf Sif is from the Dark Souls series. He is the wolf pup pet of Artorias the Abyss Walker. When you encounter Sif in the game, he's hiding behind the gigantic gravestone of Artorias, and as you approach, he jumps down, picks up a giant sword in his mouth, and then you have to battle a giant wolf holding a giant sword in his mouth. I know, sounds crazy, but it is quite epic. In the box, you can see the image of Great Grey Wolf Sif. He's got the sword in his mouth. You can see the First 4 Figures logo there at the bottom. As we turn the box around, you can see some more artwork there on the side. On the back side, it contains a story of Great Grey Wolf Sif that you can read there. This is number 24 of 1,200 pieces. I have the regular edition, not the exclusive edition. And here's the other side. Let's get into it. Here is the Sif statue. It really is an amazing piece. Just the detail they've put into the wolf. There was a lot of controversy when this piece first came out. The base didn't quite match the images they showed. There was a little more detail and more life to the base, I believe. But due to some issues with the moss and some of the plant life on it, they had to cut back a little bit. I don't mind it, it really is an amazing looking piece. The main issue with the statue came from shipping. When they shipped it, the styrofoam inside the box rubbed against the paint of the statue and ended up scratching the paint across Sif's face, nose, and a lot of these upper hairs up here on top of the back of the statue, and then on the right thigh. I actually had to exchange a couple till I got a good one. They don't do repairs, they only do exchanges. The First 4 Figures was awesome. They were super quick about it, and they got my replacement in hand very fast. The detail and the look of it is really awesome. The writing on the base of the statue is just like in the game. It's like it says on Artorias' grave. The way that the wolf sits up on the rock is pretty cool. Just the pose. It matches the game completely. And honestly, there's more detail in the statue wolf than in the actual game, since they have more liberties to add more detail. You can see he's holding the sword of Artorias. Next to the First 4 Figures Artorias statue, the sword that Sif is holding is the same size as the sword that Artorias is holding on his shoulders. I'll pull that here momentarily to show you that as well. Just the way that Sif is holding the sword in his mouth looks epic. Depending on where you have the statue placed, I have mine propped up a little bit higher so he's kind of looking down at you. Looks really cool. The tail, be very careful when putting the tail in. The magnet on this tail is very strong, so when you're putting it in, make sure you hold back a little bit so you can get to sit properly and not break it. The statue does take up a lot of space due to the length of the sword in his mouth, so you do want to make sure that you have some space open for that. Pretty wide placement there, so make sure you got enough space for that. Alright, here you can see the size of the Sif statue compared to the First 4 Figures Artorias of the Abyss statue, which they go together with. This is the gravestone of Artorias. Great Grey Wolf Sif protects the grave and keeps outsiders away from it. There's very deep lore and story to the backstory to the character of Sif and Artorias. Definitely give that a Google and check it out. It's hard to see that lore within the game itself, but when you actually do some research on it and pull what other people have found throughout the game's storyline, it really creates a very touching and deep story to these two characters. Again, the sword that Artorias is holding is the exact same size as the sword that Sif has in his mouth. Together they'd make an amazing pair. I sit Artorias a little bit closer on the front and have Grey Wolf Sif kind of sitting over his shoulder, and they look pretty sick next to each other. Size-wise, you can get a good size comparison. If you do have the Artorias statue, this is what they would look like next to each other size-wise. They made it so that Sif would be about the right size, compared 1:1 scale to what Artorias would be 1:1. So they make a good size comparison next to each other. If Sif was on the ground next to Artorias, they would look sized perfectly between a man and his wolf. If you haven't seen it, check out my statue review for Artorias the Abyss Walker, also here on Geekbeef. Now, Dark Souls is one of my favorite games. I've been playing through the Souls series since Demon Souls, and ever since playing that for the first time, and I bought Demon Souls the day it came out, and I just got hooked. It was so difficult. I remember my wife, Beffy Beef, looked at me, she's like, "Why do you keep playing this game when you keep dying?" I'm like, "But I gotta beat the friggin' dragon!" It was a very exciting moment to experience the first real satisfaction of defeating your first difficult boss in the Souls series, and that's continued on ever since through Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, and hopefully the next Souls game. Alright guys, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed our review and close-up look at First 4 Figures Great Grey Wolf Sif statue. If you want to see more statue reviews and close-up looks, check us out at geekbeef.com, Geekbeef on YouTube, Geekbeef on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram. We're all over the internet. My name is Andy Beef, and this is Geekbeef Collectibles.